What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. So, been seeing some requests and stuff about people over, the past few months and weeks asking me to do a review on The Bold and the Beautiful. Normally, I don't do review. I have done a review on The Bold and the Beautiful, but it was years ago. I don't typically do it. But, Bold and the Beautiful, it's like hit or miss for me sometimes. Like, they do have decent storylines. They have some good ones, but it's the love triangles that turn me off because it's like every time you turn around, it's a love triangle, and that shit gets boring sometimes. But I say, you know what? People kept asking me for a review on it, so I say, you know what? I'll do it. I have been watching it off and on, you know what I mean? So I know a lot that's going on with it. But this episode was actually pretty good. I actually kind of enjoyed this episode. First of all, y'all know, or y'all may not know, but Dollar Bill, that's one of my favorite characters. But I was not feeling the way he was talking to Justin today, or Wyatt for that matter. I was not feeling it because you're lashing out at them when you got yourself and Liam in this mess. You know what I mean? Bill was stupid as all hell for, convincing Liam to go ahead with this whole hit and run. All you had to do was call 911. That's all you had to do. You would have never went to prison. You would have never went to jail for that. Never. You would have never got caught for that. Because it would have been rude accident. Why would they think that you had intent to murder somebody when you sat at the road calling 911 for him? That's all they had to do. And you wouldn't be in this mess. That was stupid on Bill's part. Bill talking about all Liam had to do was keep his mouth shut. No. Because that's not the type of person, Liam is. He has a conscience, unlike Bill. That's what separates him from Bill. Clearly, his conscience, he get that from his mother. But, Bill want to sit there and lash out at everybody or whatever, talking about, oh, my plan would have worked, da-da-da-da. It would have only worked for about 2 seconds. Because eventually, maybe a few months or so, maybe. But eventually, they would have figured it out. The cops would have figured it out, or somebody else would have figured it out, and it would have been Murder, She Wrote for you. So at some point, it was bound to come out at some point. You know what I mean? So you can't sit there and lash out and get mad at Justin because he feels like Justin's not doing enough or whatever, or working quickly to get him out. Well, it's not a speedy situation, Bill. It's not, something that he can easily get you out of. And where Bill fucked up was he and Liam confessed and basically said that they fled the scene. You just admitted to hit and run, dummy. And on top of that, he kept Justin in the dark about it ever since it happened. Justin recently just found out about this. It's like, had he told Justin the moment it happened or right after it happened, Justin could have helped him. Told him what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do. Like, he could have told him that as his lawyer. You know what I mean? That's the time to get your lawyer involved after you do something. You know what I'm saying? After you do a criminal act or something illegal, call your lawyer and tell him that, dummy. That's what you pay him for. Don't wait until the last minute to tell him something, because then it's going to be too late. And then him and Liam, like I said, they opened their big ass mouths, told the cops, oh, we fled the scene. And I'm like, see, that's where you fucked up, because that gave the cops motive and that gave them enough to arrest your ass. So it's like, what more can Justin do? All Justin can try to do is get y'all some bail until y'all trial. That's the best he can do at this point in time. He, like I said, Bill should have told Justin ASAP. You know what I mean? But don't sit there and berate him. I could not stand the way he was talking to Justin. Talking about something, oh, I need you as my lawyer right now, not as my friend. I need more of a lawyer, not a friend. Well, at the end of the day, like Justin said, he done had that man back since day one. And he has. He always looked out for Bill, always had his back. And a lot of times, Bill has berated Justin a lot of times. And I never liked it. He always treated Justin like some lackey. And and they had their fun moments and stuff, their laughing moments and their bromance and whatever you want to call it. And those are the times that I like them together. And I always love when Justin called Bill Dollar Bill. You know what I mean? He always had that man back. Always had it. And for him to keep talking to Justin like that, I was not feeling it. Justin is better than me, because I would have left his ass right sitting up in that jail. I would have been like, you know what? Sit your ass up in here then. Since you want to talk shit to me and expect me to get you out of this, you can sit up in here until you calm down and learn some respect. Because at the end of the day, Justin's a human being just like you are. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be your friend / attorney. treat him like it. Don't sit there and berate him over something you did. You caused this mess. Nobody told you to sit there and do a hit and run and not tell your attorney about it. That was on you, stupid. And Wyatt, he just sitting there all pissy because he was kept in the dark about all of this. I do agree with Bill on that. I'm like, Wyatt, we ain't got time to deal with your feelings right now. Like, I agree. Your daddy and your brother are sitting in a jail cell right now. Ain't nobody got time for woe is me. Oh, you didn't tell me. And we ain't got time for that right now, Wyatt. We'll talk about that once this is all said and done, but we ain't got time for this. We need to focus on getting the hell up out of here. Like, I ain't got time for your feelings. You know what I mean? Because Bill, of course, is worried about the company, and that's where he wants Wyatt running Spencer Publications. And you know, Justin was tight. Justin was so pissed about it. And I noticed the way Justin kept looking at Bill. Every time Bill would talk shit to Justin, Justin would look at him like, you know, like, I'll leave your ass here. Like, you could tell he was disgusted with the way Bill was talking to him. And so Justin got pissed because Bill wanted Wyatt to run the company while he was in jail. Because he felt like, you know, he knows the ins and out of the company better than Wyatt does. And Wyatt was offended by that. He was like, what you mean you know it better than me? Well, I mean, you know, Justin does know business. You know, he's been in, you know, the corporate world for some years. He does have a lot of experience over Wyatt. But Justin should have known that Bill would never ask him to run that company because you're not a Spencer at the end of the day. You're not his son. You're not blood related to him. So, of course, he was always going to ask one of his sons to run the company every time. I remember when Bill got shot, Justin thought he was going to run the company, but that didn't happen. And I think Justin has a lot of resentment towards Bill for that. Because whenever Bill's in trouble or something go down, Justin's always there to help him. But yet, when it comes to running the company, Bill never hands him the keys to the kingdom. But Bill felt like, why would I want you to run the company when you're my lawyer? You're supposed to handle my defense. But Justin felt like, I can handle your defense and run the company at the same time. Now, I understand where Justin coming from, but I kind of agree with Bill on that. Like, this is a huge case. You know, the DA, the cops, they're trying to prove murder. Intent, you know, murder with intent. And that's a huge charge. You know what I mean? So I can understand why Bill wants his attorney to focus solely on his defense. Not only his defense, but Liam's defense as well. And trying to focus on, you know, those things and focus on a multi-million-dollar media company, that's a lot of responsibility for one person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. So I can see why he wanted Wyatt to run the company. But I also feel there was another reason for that. Like, I don't think he ever wanted Justin to run his company. You know what I mean? He always wanted his sons at the helm. You know what I mean? But it's a hot mess. But it was crazy to see Bill so vulnerable. You know what I mean? Because usually you always see Bill tough and, you know, just ice cold. You know what I mean? Like, nothing gets to him a lot of times. But to see him emotional and stuff like that, because he's in, you know, a vulnerable place right now. You know, he's always been Dollar Bill, powerful media mogul. You know, he's been that for years. And to be in this situation now where him and his son are both in jail, and he's not powerful enough to get either one of them out of the situation. He got to rely on other people right now to get him out. You know, that's not something Bill's used to. He's not used to being this vulnerable. You know, so, and being in jail and, you know, looking at years in prison, it's going to mess with his psyche. You know what I mean? It could mess with anybody. So it was crazy to see him like that. You know, that's why he needed Justin and Wyatt to do what he needed them to do. You run the company, you run my defense and Liam's defense. So speaking of Liam, I wonder, like, how the hell do Liam get so many visits in one day? Thomas, Steffi, Hope, they all get to visit him all in one day? Like, how? Normally you only get one visitor every other day. Like, he getting 3, you know, in one day. I was like, well, damn. You know, because Hope, she want him to come home and stuff. You know what I hate, though? Because when they took Liam, when his visit was done with Hope, and it's so funny because Hope was trying to ask Liam, oh, can't you ask the guards to give you more time or whatever? I'm like, Hope, this is jail. Like, where do you think you are? This is jail. You don't have privilege in jail. You don't get to say, oh, I need more time. No. Once your visit is over, it's over. There's no more time. I don't know where you think he is. This is not the Marriott. Um, this ain't Martha Stewart jail. So it ain't gonna be none of that. His last name don't mean a damn thing to them guards up in there. Um, but when Liam went to his cell and you see all the pictures on the wall, it was all of Hope, Beth, and Douglas. I said, first of all, where is Kelly? Like, why do they make it seem like Kelly ain't even his child or he don't care about her or whatever? Because the only time he even thought about Kelly or brought up Kelly like that since he's been in jail was when Steffi came to see him. That's the only time. Any other time, he don't mention that girl. Unless, he talk about kids, plural, but he be acting like Douglas is his son. I'm like, no, Douglas is Thomas's son. Like, they be really trying to act like that's his son. I'm like, no. That's why I feel like Thomas needs to really take custody of his son, because I'm like, that's your child. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little hokey to me, but I'm like, okay. So anyway, Ridge and Thomas, they were sitting there talking about the whole Liam situation, and Ridge is pissed off more at Bill because he felt like Bill was the one behind all this, because he feels like it's Bill's fault that Liam's in this mess, because he should have never tried to cover this up, which I do agree. That was stupid on Bill's part. So of course, Brooke comes in, interrupting their conversation, talking about what were y'all talking about. I'm like, first of all, Brooke, it's none of your business what they were talking about. It's really none. It's really not your concern. Like, go sit down. It's a father talking to his son. Mind your business. But of course, when Thomas was telling Brooke about what Liam asked him to do or whatever, she got all pissy about it or whatever, because she sees it as Thomas's opportunity to get what he wants, which is Hope. My thing is, I can understand, as much as I don't really like Brooke, I can kind of understand where she's coming from, because it wasn't that long ago that Thomas was obsessed with Brooke. I mean, not Brooke, Hope. So I could see where she was coming from and why she was acting like that. But at the same time, we all know that there was another reason for it. She never liked Ridge's kids. That's what it's always been about. And it sucks that Ridge has to be married to her and referee between his wife and his kids. He always had to play referee between Steffi and Brooke. Now he's doing it between Thomas and Brooke. And I just feel like that's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to be the go-between your wife and your kids. Like, that's ridiculous. But she shouldn't be mad at Thomas, because at the end of the day, Thomas is not the one who, said, hey, I'm going to look after Hope and the kids or whatever while you're in here. He ain't the one who said that. That's what Liam wanted. You know what I'm saying? Liam was the one who asked him to do that. So she's also mad because she felt like he shouldn't have never went to the jail to go see Liam or whatever. I'm like, at the end of the day, Vinny was his friend. You know what I mean? So he wanted to know from Liam, did you kill my friend on purpose or was it an accident? But Thomas doesn't believe that he did that on purpose. So Brooke need to go sit down somewhere. Like, she really do. Everything with her is always about Hope. Oh, we need to focus on Hope and Liam right now. We need to focus on Hope right now. Everything about Brooke is always about Hope. It's like, when it comes down to Ridge's kids, she don't give a damn how they feel. It's always about her daughter. You would have thought that girl had one child. Like, what about all the other kids you got? What about Rick? What about RJ? You know what I mean? Bridget. What about your other kids? It's like everything with her is always about Hope. And she got pissy at Ridge or whatever because Ridge told Hope, that Liam could be gone for some years. I mean, I understand Brooke want to be all positive and whatnot because, it's good to stay positive, but Ridge was being realistic. If convicted, Liam could be in prison for a long time. And it's the truth. You know what I mean? It's not like he was sugarcoating it. He was just being honest with her, trying to get her to face reality. Like, that could be your new reality where your husband is sitting in prison for a long damn time. Like, Brooke need to go sit down somewhere. But anyway, this was pretty good episode. I enjoyed this. Y'all hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought, and I'll see y'all all later. Have a great day. Peace.